my experience prior to Thoroughbred Camp, I started working with horses when I was about 16 at a therapeutic riding center called Strides. And I got my first experience working with horses, which, as I'm sure it is for a lot of people who start here, it was really terrifying. But it wasn't with thoroughbreds. The thoroughbreds that were there were incredibly old. But I fell in love with the racetrack and managed to force my way in after about a year of begging people for jobs. And so I started working with thoroughbreds and got my experience with them and got to learn how to work with them and handle them and not be afraid of them and in turn not be scared of all other horses. And after that I decided I wanted to pursue working with horses as a career. So I went to Chris McCarron's North American Racing Academy in Kentucky and joined the Horseman's Pathway to become a trainer. So I spent 2 years there basically learning how to work with racehorses and learn how to train them and learn how to take care of them and all the basic things that you need to know when you're working with horses. And that basically led me to Thoroughbred Ed. I got a few jobs at the racetrack after that, but unfortunately I injured my knee and couldn't continue working at the track. So I also started school to be I'm in pre-vet right now, so to be a veterinarian. And I didn't really have the chance to work with thoroughbreds anymore, specifically horses in general. So I found an article, or my mom basically found an article about Thoroughbred Ed, and I called them up and started up. Because I love horses so much, I never really had any biases towards breeds. When I first started working with thoroughbreds, I heard all the stories about how mean they were and how strong they were and how much they could kill you essentially with a thought, and they were just these big intimidating animals, and I'm kind of attracted to danger, so I went for it anyway. And naturally when you're on the track, it's a different story, so the horses are a bit more hyped up and a bit stronger, but the truth about it was most of the horses on the track were actually gentle giants. I very rarely felt like I was in any danger around them, and even when I did, there was plenty of people there willing to help me, so I eased my way up into learning how to handle horses that were too strong for me. There wasn't really any biases about the thoroughbred breed for me, so. Thoroughbred Camp has changed me in the sense where I've learned a little bit about teaching people when I was at Chris's school in Kentucky, because I had to help the first years when I was in my second year. And I've learned quite a bit about thoroughbreds, but the program's run by 2 veterinarians, which is something I've never gotten to experience. So I've learned a lot more about the health of the horses and what could go wrong, and how to be a bit more cautious, and how, we're in an environment where it's basically a bunch of reining horses and hunter jumpers, and so, their horses are not as high strung, they're more used to the noises and everything, so I had to get used to an environment where these things weren't such a big deal to them. Thoroughbred Camp, though, has definitely encouraged me to become a better leader, in the sense that I've learned how to teach people better, I've learned to get better patience, essentially. I've been working with people who have had absolutely no experience with horses prior to this, compared to Chris's school, where some of them had a little bit of experience to a lot of experience. And it's also it's kept me on my toes with horses, which is something I think everybody should, they should be wary about horses regardless of what breed it is, because it is a stronger animal than you. So, yeah, it's just been a good experience. I've always wanted to, ever since I was about 16, I've always wanted to be involved with horses somehow, but with, I definitely am considering horse veterinary. I'm kind of mixed between that and a couple other options, but horses will have to be in my life no matter what I do from here on out. So I'd love to own some if I can ever get the money for it. I'd love to care for them, and I'd love to be a vet for them if I get the opportunity, or if I find that that's my path. So they'll be in the future for sure.